Sunglasses on, sunglasses off. Doesn't matter, who cares? Am I turning American? A lot of seaweed. Good morning. It's actually sunny in Sweden today, so I am going to go to the beach. These are filthy. Can't see anything. I'm in a place called Litre, which I don't know what it means, but I think it might have something to do with goats. There's a free camper van area and it's right next to the beach. And I've parked here a few times, but this is the first time where there's been a lot of other people here. So there's a clear difference because obviously the Swedes have now decided that it's not winter anymore. So everyone's coming out in their camper van. So it's the first time I've kind of had company down here as well, which is quite nice. I met a couple who also had 2 cats in their van. I've only got 1, but they had 2. Louie's enough. And my neighbours last night, they also seemed to have 3 or maybe even 4 dogs in their van. I'm not really sure. They seem to keep coming out with different dogs, so I lost count. Anyway, it's quite beautiful around here. Let's have a wander around. Actually, it might be geese. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of signs of geese activity around here. This is Walter's bench. I don't know anything about Walter. I don't know why he has a bench, but he does, and this is his bench. Thank you, Walter. I was watching Louie's GPS last night and I noticed, by the way, he stays out until 5 o'clock in the morning now that the weather's better, which is not good for me because I don't really sleep until he gets back. And I noticed that he came down to this area and spent a couple of hours down here running around. So I thought I'd come and have a look and see what it is that he was interested in. This is the area where he spent most of his time. There's some sailing huts here, so I guess he was hunting underneath them and hanging out on the beach. Obviously on days like today, it is absolutely fantastic. This place is beautiful. There's lots of places where you can go and be on your own and enjoy nature. And it's easy to forget that for half the year it's freezing and you can't do this. can completely understand why Louie came down here. It's really nice. So while we're down here, let's talk about some future plans. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that in June I'm heading back to the UK, and then after that what I'm thinking of doing is heading to Spain. I've always wanted to drive around Spain and Portugal. Not sure about having my sunglasses on when I'm talking to the camera. What do you think? Sunglasses on, sunglasses off? Doesn't matter, who cares? Anyway, sunglasses on my head, which is something I couldn't do when I was bald because it looked really stupid. Mind you, who knows what it looks like. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might get a ferry from Plymouth over to, is it Santander or Bilbao? One of the two. Across the Bay of Biscay, which I did before when I was a kid actually. And we were going on a cruise. And I remember the Bay of Biscay being an absolute nightmare. So much so that one of the crew had a heart attack. I'm actually thinking that while I'm there, I'm going to have a look at some country properties. I don't know if it's possible or not, but you hear all the stories about people finding properties in Spain and Italy for €1. The €1 houses thing is a thing. What I'd like to find is something with 4 walls, a roof, and then whatever else needs doing I can do. I'd quite like an off-grid place somewhere in Spain, just as a base, something I could go to every now and again, and mainly somewhere where I can store my vinyl, because I don't like having all my records in storage. That's the one thing about van life. I don't miss anything else, but I would like to have somewhere where my records are. So that's a loose plan anyway. See if I can find something down there. If I do, then great. If I don't, then, I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing. What do you think? Do you prefer the warmer weather like I do, or do you prefer somewhere a bit cooler? In wintertime, I never really feel like going out. I just hibernate, stay inside. But in summer, I do feel a lot more active. I feel like going for walks and going and exploring. So summertime is definitely my season. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that I really don't like doing this. I like filming. I like making YouTube videos. I don't like talking to the camera. I don't feel like I'm good at it. I don't like the sound of my own voice. What do you do about that? How do you make that better? I'm sure you can get better at it. I'm trying to get better at making videos all the time, trying to get the quality better, trying to learn things. But this bit, talking to the camera, just feels odd. I know people say that you should be talking to one person, so I'm talking to you right now. And that's supposed to be a good thing to do. But how do you get over the sound of your own voice? I don't like that. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that don't like the sound of my voice, but that's a whole other story. What is that place? Who owns that? Cool spot to have a, what is it? Some kind of building? Obviously it's some kind of building. What is it though? It's really lovely here. I'll put a what 3 words in the description of the video so you can find it yourself if you ever happen to be up this way. But it's lovely. Got the free camper van parking, lovely little harbour. There's a cafe which isn't open right now, but I assume during summer that will be open. And there's also a little compost toilet that you can use. Very nice little spot and all free. It's Stenungsunds commune, I think, which is the main town just up there. So thank you, Stenungsunds commune. I left Louie in the van, so I'm going to go back now and see what he's up to. Probably asleep. There's a lot of seaweed here on the beach. There's a sign further up that tells you that this area has a lot of seaweed and it's very good for nature and the quality of the water and the wildlife. It's a special type of seaweed. I need to go and read the sign and see what it says. I didn't read it properly, but there is a lot of seaweed. And as you can see, there's ample cycle parking. It's called all grass, which, if I translated it, is eel grass. Do you know what that is? All grass, eel grass. Is there an English translation to that? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, apparently it's threatened because of overfishing, and it's an important seaweed for the environment and for fish to live in. Hey Louie, are you tired? Shouldn't have stayed out so late, should you? Here's a thing I recently learned. Which country do you think has the most islands of all the countries in the world? That's right, it's Sweden. Have I mentioned how dangerous it is living with a cat in a van? You might look quite peaceful now. Here's just some clips of what daily life with Louie is always like. Oh, and one more thing. I haven't forgotten about my side cupboard that I'm building over there. It's still a work in progress, but I did do a little bit more during the week. I'm just working out how I'm going to measure out these separating compartments. There's a couple of problems. The first one is I need to be able to remove it because if I have guests in the van, then I have another bed down below and it means I can't pull out my bed. So I need to sleep sideways in the van. I have to work out what the best way of doing that is. I've measured out and each section is 37.5 centimetres handily. So I need to cut all that and then start fitting it together. So I got those bits done, but I need some brackets. So I need to find a hardware store where I can buy. Am I turning American? Hardware store, DIY store. I need to find a DIY store where I can get some brackets, preferably some flat sitting brackets so I can place them underneath and I won't need to cut out anything to put the brackets in. Anyway, that's a problem for another day. Thank you very much for watching this video. That's Louie and I, We both hope you enjoyed it very much. Well, actually, to be honest, I hope you enjoyed it very much. Louis said he doesn't really care either way. I would also like to say a massive thank you to my Litre Legends seen here on the screen. They help keep the channel running and keep Louis in expensive cat food because he's a bit posh like that. If you would also like to become a Litre Legend, have a look in the description where you'll see how you can do that. But if you don't want to do that, I would really appreciate it if you clicked on like and especially subscribe. The more subscribers I get, the better it will go for the channel. Leave me a comment below, especially if you've got any tips about talking to camera. I don't know, am I doing a good job, a bad job? What can be better? Let me know. So thank you once again for making it all the way to the end of the video, and we'll see you in the next one.